Welcome to the Destiny Global Studio. I'm excited today and all of next week because next week's 25th is my birthday. And the reason why I'm saying that is because after living life and going through so much experiences, I would like to extend something to the young, to the middle age, and also to the old, but mostly to the young. I would like to speak to them about how much time they have left. From the minute you were born, time is rolling. You cannot stop time. We spoke about time before in a video, but this video is very serious because I am coming to the twilight of my life too. So I see time almost like on a time sander where it's almost upside down and the sand, it keeps going through at a speed that you will never be able to comprehend how quickly that time is going. So to the young, I want to say this. If you are fortunate to live until 80 years old, you would have slept 33 years of your life already. Imagine taking 33 years from 80. You have 47 years. I want to break it down, and I've made a note here. So if you're fortunate to live 80 years old, one would have lived about 29,200 days and 700 hours. Considering the facts that the humans spend, as I said, 33 years in bed. So you have 47 years. If you're in your 20s, let's say we take it that you're in your 20s, and you think that you have a lifetime in front of you, you have not. This is the time you should be looking at your life very, very serious. You should be looking at it with clarity, with a purpose, with ambition, to know where am I going. You cannot be jumping from one thing to the other. I have done that. I can tell you. And I've come right back to where you start in the beginning. So why spend all those years, those precious years, those years that you cannot get back? You cannot replace them because time is something that you can't get back. You can get more money, you can get more love, you can get more material things, but you cannot get more time. So, how much time have you got? I want you to really think about it. And what am I going to do about the time that I have? Because every day, that 24-hour clock is ticking. And you're sleeping 8 hours of that day. So you've got 16. So are you going to waste 1 or 2 hours or 3 or 4 hours of that? 1 hour is 60 minutes. So you do the maths. I know at this stage of my life, I have worked it out. And I can tell you because I'm not afraid to tell you. On the 25th of next month, I'm 68 years of age. I cannot believe that I am that age because I thought that time was going to be almost forever. You've just got to look around you at the people who were here before you. They're no longer here. They're no longer here because, as Steve Jobs says, they've got to make way for the young. That's what life is all about. So if you do not, and I repeat, if you do not use that time, that daily time, that hourly time, that weekly time, that monthly time, and really add it up and put it to use, then you will find that at the end of 2 or 3 years, you are no further from your dreams or your goals than when you start. So how do you correct this? Because I can give you a lot of experiences that I've been through, and now I'm correcting it. I've seen beautiful essence of time and how one should live their life. One should live their life with purpose. One should live their life not looking at extrinsic things on the outside. Because things on the outside are tangible. People will never remember you for that. People will remember you for the love that you show, the compassion that you show, the warmth that you show, the encouragement that you show to them. Those are the intrinsic things that makes up someone's character, their personality, that brings them fulfillment, that brings them happiness. So along your journey of fulfilling time and your purpose, you must encapsulate these characteristics, because these should be habits, and they should be formed like almost your wallet in your right side of your trousers pocket. You know where your wallet is, and that's how good habits should be. You don't have to look for them to find them. So I want you to really see what I'm saying about time. And I've made a few notes, as I said, and I'm going to take you through them stage by stage. So you were born, and then when you were born, you grow up into childhood, and then you move on to adolescence. And then you come into your teens, and then you reach into your 20s. I too think that in my 20s, I had all the time. Agreed, I made some good investment in my 20s. But guess what? I threw it away because I didn't know the value of it. Anytime you don't know the value of things, there is no validation to it. If you're given things, or if anything you're given, is it appreciated? No. You can just look at life, at people who have sacrificed their lives so that you and I can have all this to enjoy. So what are we going to do about it? That is the question again. Each day that you get up in life, you should have planned your diary what you're going to do for the day. Because if you don't have a plan, then how are you going to fulfill anything? You can't be just going thinking that you're going to throw a dart at the board and it's going to hit the bullseye. You can't think that you're going to mark the lottery and you're going to win 10 million pounds or whatever. That, even if one should win the lottery, because it happens in a lot of cases, they end up broke. Because they don't know the value of the money. So, to the young, I want to say this. It appears that we have all the time in the world, but we haven't. I was away just a few weeks ago, and when I was at the airport, I saw this book, and I said, I must pick it up and read it. Because I see this young man on Dragon's Den. I think he's only around 40. And I'm thinking, I'm intrigued with this young man. This young man has something that the majority of young people don't have. So I start reading his book, and I was riveted. And I took this book on holiday, and I want to share a few extracts from it so that you can see what he's talking about. And he's talking about time. And he's only 40. And he's made good of time. So if I can read you just a few extracts. His name is Steve Bartlett. And the title of the book is Happy, Sexy Millionaire. What a title to have. The title alone grips you, and you have to buy his book, whether you like it or not, whether it costs £30, £28, you just got to buy the book if you're someone who wants to search for that nugget. And this is what he has. Let me go to the beginning, because I think that's interesting. I ran out of the exit doors of my primary school, looking across the playground through the crowds of shuffling parents. And there she was, stood at the school gates, my 35-year-old mother, with a satisfied smirk sprawled across her face, waiting for me, wearing little more than her underwear. Oh, that particular day, my flamboyant African mother had decided to pick me up from school in her bra in order to send a message to all the English mothers. This is just one story from a library of embarrassing episodes that I dealt with growing up. He's telling you about how he grew up, including the day she made my sister stand at the street for hours holding a sign that read, "I am a thief," after she was caught stealing a cheese string from a supermarket, and the day she decided to give me a spanking in front of my childhood crush, Jessica, after I was caught climbing on a roof. He's talking about how he grew up with his African mother and how firm she was. A word of advice for anyone that might find themselves being spanked in front of their first love. It's actually really hard to look at. It's not cool at all. Also, don't look at your audience. On reflection, I'm sure that my attempts to make my eye contact with Jessica, this is his first love, to let her know that I was doing okay over here, just made the experience more traumatizing for her. And he went on to speak about his mother and how he grew up. And now he wanted to speak about how he went about making it. At the age of 21, he was a multimillionaire. So, and then he wanted to tell you also how he became happy, because he's seen so many millionaires who are unhappy, and he wanted to be a happy millionaire. That's why he wrote the book, Happy, Sexy Millionaire. And he said after that, happiness is now or never. There are two kinds of games we play in life: finite games and infinite games. A finite game is played for the purpose of winning, and therefore the ending the game, like football, bingo, or poker. These games are played within a short frames, and they have winners and losers. An infinite game is the opposite. It is designed for the purpose of continuing the play and with the purpose of bringing more players into the game. There are no winners or losers, just an ongoing experience. There's only one infinite game, our lives. Just what we spoke about, the time in our life. And here's the problem. I spent the first 25 years of my existing believing life was and playing life like a finite game. I saw happiness as something I couldn't win by adding more and more points to some imaginary scoreboard of success, wealth, fame, and accomplishment. But how can I win a game when the only end to the game is when the player dies? Happiness, fulfillment, is an infinite game. You cannot win at being happy. You can only be it. And be it until the player is no longer in the game. In this infinite game, you're not playing within a time frame. The confetti never rains down on you. No matter how rich you get. And the podium never appears regardless of how successful you become. That is just the starting of his book, And obviously you can go and buy his book as a young person who want to search for happiness, success, and how to use your time purposeful and fruitful. There's also a few notes that I would like to go through from my journal that I've been making for some times. And I've made some notes in it and the dates, so I'll point you to the dates as well too. 14th of January 2024. We have to define our goals clearly, especially if one is in the twilight of their life. And I would like to insert in that, especially if one is in their youthfulness of their life. There is no longer a priority. It is precious, rare, more than diamonds. You should move with emergency, not an urgency. And then I wrote before that, the 4th of January, lifestyle is really nothing more than the art of doing ordinary things extraordinary well. It isn't getting up from the meal and because of the poor service, tossing 2 coins on the table and glaring at the waiter on the way out. No, you should still be circumspect. You should still be sophisticated and have elegance and am elegant in dealing with even poor service and not even showing that it's poor service. That is also a characteristic of someone who has developed and has improved in their personality to deal with life, whatever comes. So let's see how we're going to use the time that we have left. I know that the way the maths stack up, 12 years, even if I've got 12 years left on this planet, it's worked out to around 500 hours. Therefore, I cannot afford to waste 1 hour out of those 500,000 hours I have left, because I have to make it count. As the song said, you've got one shot, and life is all about one shot, and it's the way you play that shot. You can't follow other people's dreams. Steve Jobs said you've got to connect the dots. And before he was dying, you know and you've seen what he said when he was making that speech, how the young should live before they die. And he was dying at the time, but he still gave them the insight of how to live their life. To live their life knowing they've got to connect those dots. You can't be living your life like life doesn't matter. Like life is not serious. Life is very, very serious. We don't say you must be serious all the time, but life is serious. And if you don't live your life with serious purposes, you're going to end up being a casualty of life, because life can beat you down until you never get up, if you let it. So I'm saying to you, and I'm not preaching to you, I'm saying especially to the young, I want you to take hold of your life. Take hold of the time that you have. Don't look at it and try to blame your mother or your father, your sister, your brother, or the government, or inflation, or, you know, you are the architect of your life. You are the one responsible for your life. Not your brother, not your sister, as the song goes, but it's me, O Lord. And that's what life is all about. And from this video, I would like you to look into your life very, very seriously, the young, and start positioning your life so that when you reach a certain age, you can say it was well. So in conclusion, to time and how you should live your life, I'd like to say this mainly to the young, that you must also find happiness. Because whatever you do, you must do it because you love doing this. So I want to wrap it up by saying, happiness is not found in accordance with the outside world. It is found in accordance with your inside world. And you will soon first find happiness applies not to the outside world, but you must remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs: self-actualization and self-esteem. And in those characteristics, if you really search, you will find what you're looking for. The secret of happiness, you see, is not found in seeking more, but in developing the capacity to enjoy less. And on that note, I'd like you to go out and connect the dots, just like Steve Jobs said.